at y'all with another video today, man. And I hate to do it, but we got to talk about Andrew Big Hands That Touch Women Cuomo again. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting video. I just find it like he beat the case, bro. Andrew Cuomo beat the case. Well, actually, no, he didn't even beat the case. They didn't even bring a case to against him. Like all the charges were dropped. The nursing home, charges were dropped. The sexual assault charges were dropped, and they came around at the same time, which lets me know we're going to get into it. What is I'm going to tell y'all what my bullshit meter is saying right now. But the establishment never ceases to amaze me, bro. It never ceases to amaze me, like how the establishment shows you we are in fact above the fucking law. So you have both sides of the aisle, whether it's Republicans and Trump with this law and order approach he took, and then obviously the same thing with Joe Biden. Joe Biden's always been like a law and order guy. That's why I kind of found it funny when a lot of Republicans were trying to paint him as like this like pro like Antifa, pro crime guy, when it's like, how are you, like, you can't in one breath talk about Joe Biden locks up black people with the fucking crime bill and turn around and say he's pro Antifa and pro crime. Like bruh, no. That don't make sense. So, but we're here to talk about we're not here to talk about that sexual assaulter today. We're not here to talk about the sexual assaulter that's president right now. We're here to talk about the former sexual assaulter, or no, yeah. I mean, unless he's still assaulting women, he probably is. You never know, because he's Italian, so it's the family thing. But the former governor as well, Andrew Cuomo. Had to take a sip of beer before we get started. Let's go ahead and get into these articles, though, Shan. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kick it off with this article. Manhattan DA won't prosecute. So I'm going to talk about the whole Andrew Cuomo nursing home scandal thing up front. Then I want to talk about the sexual assault, because I have a certain opinion that might be a little spicy. It might be a little spicy. Feel me? So a lot of y'all might get mad. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be spicy. So I'm going to give it to y'all at the end. We're going to get to that. But first, we're going to talk about Andrew Cuomo killing old people, and New York State basically saying, who really cares? Manhattan DA won't prosecute Andrew Cuomo over New York nursing home COVID deaths. And just imagine, your mom, aunt, whatever, your family member, friend, whoever it is. Imagine them being one of these people that died because of his decision, and the state basically saying this shit that they're about to say in this article. It's fucking bonkers, bro. This is fucking bonkers. New York City, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office will not file criminal charges in connection with the handling of coronavirus deaths in New York nursing homes during the tenure of former Governor Andrew Cuomo. His representative said Monday. Cuomo's spokesman forwarded a statement from Elkin Abromowitz, an attorney who represented the governor's office. I was contacted today, and this is what he said. I was contacted today by the head of the elder care unit from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, who informed me they have closed its investigation involving the executive chamber and nursing homes, the statement read. I was told that after a thorough investigation, as we have said all along, this is what caught my attention. This is what fucking got my bullshit meter going. I was told that afternoon after a thorough investigation, as we have said all along, there was no evidence to suggest that any laws were broken. Let me read that again. As we have suggested all along, there was no evidence to suggest that any laws were broken. Why is that so important? Why is that so important? Damn, that's kind of small. There we go. Why is that so important? Because it is. So this was the report, a summed up version of the report that I believe Shorty's name was Letitia, right? No, that's chick who plays Shuri in Black Panther. It's Letitia something. Her name's going to come up. I'll say it, when it comes up. But the district attorney of Manhattan, basically, she did this report, and these are the overview of the findings from that report. The report includes preliminary. So again, let's go back to Fuckface's statement. I was told after a thorough investigation, as we have said all along, there was no evidence to suggest that any laws were broken. So that's what fuckface Andrew Cuomo had to say. Um, this is what the report found. The report includes preliminary findings based on this is the evidence. This is the evidence that apparently that they say it was not enough. The report includes preliminary findings based on data obtained in investigations conducted to date. Recommendations that are based on those findings, related findings, and pre-pandemic investigation of nursing homes and other available data and analyses. Based on this information and subsequent investigation, OAG is currently conducting investigations into more than 20 nursing homes across the state. Now, note, I wanna say this. Y'all know how I feel about, the vax mandates and everything like that. I don't know if y'all been peeping Twitter, but I kind of had a personal experience with, basically missing out on a job because of my vaccination status. So, this is an issue that a lot of Americans, although I do feel it is a culture war issue. It's, this is a culture war issue that is actually overlapping with the reality that a lot of Americans are fucking facing. So this is like one of the rare instances where I feel like a lot of the bullshit culture war stuff kind of overlaps, and it kind of highlights how like Democrat and like a lot of Democrats and people in the Democratic sphere, or even some progressives who claim to hate Democrats and not be part of the Democrats. It's very crazy to see how they'll just like throw in with these liberals. Like they'll be like, "Oh, we're not saying the same. You're saying the same shit that they're saying," and even phrasing it in a way to where like these quote unquote, they try to phrase them, they try to lump all of these people into like the anti-vax category or the Trump category, which they can't use the Trump category now because Trump's been running around telling people to go get vaccinated and basically repeating the same shit the media's been saying about his own followers. So they can't use the Trump narrative anymore because it doesn't make any fucking sense. And I think they finally realized that, because you got to remember, the mainstream media, they're not bright, they're not smart. Okay, most of them probably have IQs below the fucking speed limit, if we're being honest. But regardless, you'll see like a lot of these people in these progressive spheres and everything, they'll call like people fascists and shit like that, but then be in favor of these fascist fucking mandates, these vaccine mandates. They're literally building camps for people in Australia and putting them in. And it's like, people are trying to chalk it up as like, oh, it's just white people raging because they're forcibly removing people from wherever they are and sending them to camp. That's fucking insane. And it's like, they're talking and they're chalking this up as just like white rage and white outlash and shit like da or right wing, whatever the fuck they're trying to dress it up as. It's fucking bonkers. Now, they're saying all this shit. Now, this is Andrew Cuomo. He's doing this. So what a lot of people like me have been saying is that, from what it seems like a lot of the experts have been saying and have been getting in trouble for, some of them have, that you vaccinate the most vulnerable in the population. Well, Andrew Cuomo said, fuck that. Oh, I'm going to take this check from these nursing home motherfuckers that I'm about to get into as well. I'm going to take the check from these motherfuckers and I'm going to shove these old ass motherfuckers in here regardless of whether they got COVID or not. The most vulnerable people. So you'll get a lot of people that say, oh, so now you guys care about COVID? No, we care about COVID, but we also care about civil liberties and forcing people into forced vaccines. So I wanted to make that point real quick, but or vaccine mandates. I'm sorry, but I wanted to make that point real quick because this is literally like this kind of not even kind of, this goes against the pro vax pro I guess pro vax but pro mandate crowd, because here you have a guy and they were praising him, saying he was the best like person responding to COVID at the fucking time. But I did a video about that. Go check it out. I'm actually using a lot of the same clippings from that video as well. But what was I saying? I keep losing my train of thought. Cuomo. Yeah, he's shoving like the most vulnerable people, old people with comorbidities in nursing homes into there, regardless of like not even knowing if they had negative tests, if they had positive tests, putting them back in there anyway. And it's like, it's insane. And it's about to be a trajectory of this story. So let me get through this. Based on this information, the OAG found that a large number of nursing home residents died from COVID-19 than DOH data reflected. Lack of compliance with infection control protocols put residents at increased risk of harm. Nursing homes that entered the pandemic with low U.S. Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services staffing ratings had higher COVID-19 fatality rates. So why is that so important? Because Andrew fuckface Cuomo just got finished cutting $400 million to the budget. So let's go back to that. I'm sorry, I know I'm flip-flopping a lot through these things, but let's go back to that. So it says that nursing homes that entered the pandemic with low U.S. U.S. Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services staffing rates had higher COVID-19 fatality rates. So because of his budget cuts, and this is a point of a fact that even now as the media are started actually covering the story with Cuomo, because prior to that he was going on CNN with his fucking brother, and they were slobbing his nuts the whole time, And then obviously he got the Emmy. He wrote a book about beating COVID before he beat COVID. Like that would be like Magic Johnson writing a book about beating AIDS before he beat AIDS. And let's be real, Magic Johnson beat AIDS. Let's be real. But yeah. So like this motherfucker, he cut $400 million, got rid of a whole bunch of hospital beds and shit like that. And it's like, it's insane. It's fucking insanity. But that's a point that nobody's bringing up, because I'm going to talk about the David Sirota article that David Sirota was talking about this back in May. And he was actually pointing out the blatant corruption involved with it as well. So we're going to get to that in a minute. So the Medicaid, all those cuts he did, that article I just showed you, and I believe that was from the New York fucking Times as well, that article. Yeah, that's from the New York Times. State lawmakers said that slashing hospital budgets to rein in Medicaid costs while the coronavirus is spreading is cruel, inhumane, and unacceptable. So one of the points that people like me, people like Jimmy Dore, people like Jackson Hinkle, Max Blumenthal, Caleb Maupin, a whole bunch of people. Well, I don't know if Caleb Maupin says this, but what a lot of us are saying is that, like, if you actually cared about people's health, you would fucking give them health care, not just say, here, take this fucking experimental vaccine and go about your fucking day. Bye. Get like Medicare for all. But remember, forced to vote. They just had the 1-year anniversary for forced to vote. You couldn't even get progressives on board with that, much less fucking liberals and Democrats. So it's fucking insanity, man. Where are we at? Insufficient PPE for nursing home staff put residents at increased risk of harm. That also goes into budgetary things as well. Insufficient COVID-19 testing for residents and the staff in the early ages of the pandemic put residents at increased risk of harm. And at this point, like, you're having an infectious disease, right? Get them the fucking equipment they need. This is for the most vulnerable. These are for the most vulnerable people, old people with comorbidities. And this is how he was doing them. But again, fuckface says, as we have said all along, there is no evidence to suggest that any laws were broken. Jesus Christ. The current state reimbursement model for nursing homes gives a financial incentive to owners of for-profit nursing homes to transfer funds to related parties, ultimately increasing their own profit instead of investing in higher levels of staffing and PPE. And there's another point that they're leaving out of here that I'm going to get to in Sirota's article that he wrote in May of 2020. Lack of nursing home compliance with the executive order requiring communication with family members caused avoidable pain and distress, and government guidance requiring the admission of COVID-19 patients into nursing homes may have put residents at increased risk of harm in some facilities and may have obscured the data available to assess that risk. And we're going to get into why he did that in a minute. I know I keep saying this, but we're going to get to it. Cuomo had come under fire for a policy early. So that was the district attorney's OAG report that came. So this is going back into that the ABC article I was talking about. So all that there, as we have said all along, there is no evidence to suggest that any laws were broken. That's called bullshit political lawyer talk. Okay, that's the if the glove don't fit, you must have quit, because we all know AJ did that. OJ did that shit. I don't care what none of y'all say. OJ did. Come on, bro. Nigga wrote a book called "If I Did It." He had an interview talking about where his imaginary friend did it. Like, boy, get your ass out of here, dog. By the way, I know I'm going into a segue. That motherfucker was the most nonchalant nigga going through a murder trial that's going to determine your fucking life. He's just walking up, putting the glove on, like, oh shit, it don't fit. Damn. That nigga look like he smoked the whole fucking bowl every time he went into the courtroom, dog. Oh God. But yeah, so Cuomo came under fire for a policy early in the COVID-19 pandemic that returned nursing home residents to their facilities upon discharge from the hospital, even if they hadn't tested negative. Again, these are the most vulnerable people. He came under additional scrutiny. So they're not. So the whole thing is that we're doing this, the vaccines and all this shit, you know, and I know this was prior, this was back then and everything like that. But this is this is when everybody was bowing down to Fauci and Cuomo. This is during that time period. And it shows you how these people are not being skeptical and critical of the information they're being given. So now with you know, the current COVID stories and you know, the vaccine debate going on now, how can these people that argue in favor of the vaccines how can they be taken seriously with this shit? With all this coming out. And then now the guy beating the case. And all they seem to care about and talk about is the actual sexual assault thing. Because as I said in my previous video about Cuomo, you know, the one I made way back when, they don't want to talk about this because this is run-of-the-mill Democratic Party fucking corruption. Joe Biden sat, like, literally a party, among Democratic voters, Medicare for all, it was like upwards of like 80 to 90% of Democratic voters want Medicare for all. We, as you know, because I wasn't a registered Democrat, but Democratic voters instead got a representative for president, you know, a candidate running for president, Joe Biden, who promised to veto Medicare for all. Why? Because he takes exuberant amounts of money. That didn't sound right. I think I said it right the first time. Exuberant amounts of money from the health lobby, from the healthcare lobby, from Big Pharma and all that shit that would be hurt with Medicare, you know, if Medicare for all were to come into play. So this is run-of-the-mill Democratic Party corruption, but it highlights it in a very good way and honestly shows you the propaganda machine behind a lot of these people as well, these politicians as well. So that's why they don't want to talk about this. That's why they'd rather talk about the sexual assault shit. And it goes right in line with Democratic identity, you know, the Democratic Party's identity politics tactics that they use. Another story that I want to be dropping today is about how, you know, AOC deflects, you know, from not wearing a mask in Florida and being in overcrowded areas. She deflects from that extremely valid criticism by saying that, oh, Republicans are just mad, basically saying they're just mad because they can't fuck me. That's literally, you cannot make this shit up, bro. I'm going to be covering that too today. Not in this video, but another, you know, the other video dropping today. But continuing. He came under additional scrutiny when the New York Attorney General found his office undercounted nursing home deaths. The state assembly considered whether it could be grounds for Cuomo's impeachment, and that was Ron Kemp that was leading that charge. Again, go back, watch that video. I put his statements in the video, and that video as well. For Cuomo's impeachment before deciding to take no action. The former governor resigned amid accusations of sexual harassment. Again, he had to resign because of sexual harassment. Because he flicking titties, touching titties and shit. Not because he killed 15,000 fucking people. He had to retire because he grabbed a titty. Again, this is why my hot take is going to be spicy. I think a lot of you guys kind of have an idea of what the fuck I'm about to say when we talk about the sexual assault shit. So yeah, so that was that article. I also what else did I have here? So yeah, Cuomo administration underreported nursing home COVID deaths by up to 50%. New York Attorney General says. Again, notice the dates. So that other article I had up. I hope the title page had a date on it. January. So this is the most recent one. This is, you know, the breaking of him not, they're saying they're not going to prosecute him. So this is them talking about the Cuomo thing. This is January 28th, 2021. Keep that date in mind. January 28th, 2021. Cuomo administration underreported nursing home COVID deaths by up to 50%, New York Attorney General says. Published Thursday, January 28th, 2021. These are the key points from that article. New York underreported coronavirus deaths in nursing homes by as much as 50%, according to a new report from New York Attorney General Letitia James. I kept saying Letitia Wright because Letitia Wright is shorty that play Black Panther, or she plays Shuri in Black Panther. They have the same first name, but I got the last names mixed up. The 76-page report comes after a months-long investigation by the Attorney General's office into allegations that nursing homes failed to follow COVID safety protocols. The investigation found that the number of COVID deaths among nursing home residents in some facilities rose by more than 50% when including residents who died in the hospital. So again, that was the thing I read earlier. I went through and read all that earlier. So that's that. You already know. I got the articles on deck. You heard? Oh, damn. I don't know why I was doing it. So this is the New York Times. Again, new allegations of cover-up by Andrew Cuomo over nursing home toll. In a private conversation, the governor's top aide admitted that data was withheld on nursing homes when more than 10,000 New Yorkers have died during the pandemic. And again, fuckface's lawyers saying there was no evidence. That's wild. Governor Andrew M. Cuomo and his administration faced new allegations on Friday that they had covered up the scope of the coronavirus death toll in New York's nursing homes, after a top aide to the governor admitted that the state had withheld data because it feared an investigation by the Trump Justice Department, where Trump was going to get him the fuck. They were going to eat him. They were going to get him the fuck out of here. The remarks by the top aide, Melissa DeRosa, made in what was supposed to be a private conference call with Democratic lawmakers, came as a cascading series of news reports and a court order have left Mr. Cuomo, a third-term Democrat, scrambling to contain the political fallout over his oversight of nursing homes, when more than 13,000 people have died in the pandemic in the state. Insanity. Lawmakers from both parties have called for stripping the governor of the emergency powers that he has exercised during the pandemic. So that's what Ron Kim was calling. Ron Kim was calling for them to fucking impeach him. I'm not I don't know much about Ron Kim to say either way, but during that time period, he went on Rising and talked about this and a couple other outlets. Well, no, actually, I think Rising at the time they were the only people bringing him on at the time, because a lot of people were saying he was persona non grata, because at the time Cuomo was the guy when it came to COVID. So he was the Democratic equivalent of what DeSantis is now for fucking Republicans who, scream about more freedom all day and all that bullshit. So, both sides fucking nut hug their fucking their idols. There you have it. Lawmakers from both parties have called for stripping the governor of the emergency powers that he has exercised during the pandemic, while Republicans have demanded the resignations of top Cuomo administration officials and new federal investigations. DeRosa's jarring admission came. That's how you know people are dumb, because you literally admitted this. How the fuck they're basically they're basically lawyers, and they're exposing themselves with their own fucking words. Fucking again, this is why I say a lot of them have IQs lower than a fucking speed limit. Mr. Rosa's jarring admission came when she was asked about ongoing delays in giving lawmakers nursing home death data. So she was probably frazzled. She was like, look, motherfuckers, look, we undercounted the deaths. Get the fuck out my face. She said that after the Department of Justice requested information last summer, basically we froze, because y'all knew y'all were doing some fucking nefarious, corrupt shit. At the time, the governor was also facing similar requests from the state legislator. We were in a position where we weren't sure if what we were giving to the Department of Justice, or what we give to you guys and what we start saying was going to be used against us, because we did some criminal, nefarious shit for fucking money. And I'm about to get to that article in a second. I know, guys. And we weren't sure if there was going to be an investigation, Mr. Rosa said during the call, according to a partial transcript later released by the governor's office after her remarks appeared in the New York Post. Fucking idiot. Oh my God, bro. What did Will Smith say in Ira? You're the dumbest smart person I've ever met. Oh my God. Dumbest smart. They're just dumb. They're not, you know what? I'm not even going to give them that credit of being dumb smart people. You're just dumb. Just because mommy and daddy paid for you to get your education, and paid off the teachers to give you passing grades and shit, doesn't mean you're fucking actually smart. So, so finally, the long-awaited David Sirota article. Now, David Sirota has been saying some shit I really don't agree with recently. Started around with forced to vote and everything like that. Regardless, I don't give a fuck about the person. I care about, the facts. Facts don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about how you feel about people that are presenting facts. So here I am reading David Sirota's article again. And I don't hate David Sirota. I just don't, I just don't agree with a lot of the shit he says. You can disagree with somebody and not fucking hate them. So, shit libs. You can disagree with somebody without fucking hating them. I need shit libs to know that. Even though they don't care, they think I'm like a fucking brown red alliance fascist. And because my profile picture on Twitter, so I tweet when I talk politics, I tweet a lot from the American Autopsy Twitter rather than my personal Twitter and shit, because I do music as well, so I try not to talk too much politics on my Twitter, my music Twitter and shit like that. But because I don't have a picture of me up there, I've literally been called white supremacist, a Nazi, same thing on the IG. I'm pretty sure Talib Kweli thinks I'm some fucking he thinks I'm some random white dude responding to his tweets when nah bruh, I'm black, I'm a nigga too. But a lot of them call me that because they don't know that I'm black. Not that it matters. You can still be, there's a lot, trust me, there's a lot of coon ass niggas out here. There definitely is a lot of coon ass niggas out here. Larry Elder, Candace Owens, I feel like at this point, Candace Owens is doing parody, bro. I feel like at this point, Candace Owens is auditioning for her character to be the next Uncle Ruckus in the fucking Boondocks. Because this bitch be saying some crazy ass shit, bro. I know I'm getting off topic again. She just be saying some shit that I know she knows black people are not going to fuck with. And not because she's like, well, I'm saying the things because saying the things that black people don't like, that are she knows that are just that's dumb. That doesn't make sense. But I'm just going to say this to trigger black people. She knows what she's doing, bro. At this point, she's a fucking parody at this point. So I don't even pay that bit. I don't even pay Shorty no mind. But I these coons like Larry Elder and all them niggas and shit like that, man. We are those type of niggas. So there can be a lot of self-deprecating racist as black people towards black people and other minorities out there. That's most definitely a fucking thing. But however, that being said, I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them unless you give me enough drinks. It's like that. But yeah, so they call me a Nazi and shit. They call me all the normal shit. What is it? Fash adjacent, all that bullshit, red brown alliance, all that. So, but we're gonna go ahead and get into this Sirota article. So all of that. So the mainstream media, they kind of hinted at it, but they didn't outright say it like David Sirota's about to. Cuomo gave immunity to nursing home, and they didn't even talk about the immunity he gave them. Now, this is why the Democrats didn't want to talk about this, because this is regular order. They lined up with Mitch McConnell to give all the, Pfizer and all these vaccine people immunity from lawsuits and shit like that in case some shit went wrong with it. And a whole bunch of other companies and shit like that, with the, the COVID, the before we had the vaccines, the things they were trying out to, treat COVID and shit like that, they were giving all those pharmaceutical companies those immunities. Well, Cuomo gave immunity to nursing home executives after big campaign donations. Wow, you wouldn't say. Critics say data proves New York's liability shield is linked to higher nursing home death rates during the pandemic. Now, I'll give The Guardian credit. The Guardian published this. This was in the hay of, you know, when people were wearing like 15 masks at that point. Yeah, liberals wearing 15. I think I was working at a crowded ass warehouse at that point. So I'm like, bro, if I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. I wasn't even. I think I was wearing my mask because it was required. It was required at that point. But it was like, if I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. I'm considered. I'm even if I was afraid, because at that point I think I was starting to like not be. Dog, I was hoarding canned foods and all that shit when COVID first started because I was freaked out by it. But then like I quickly snapped out of that. I'm not going to fraud. I went from like being definitely afraid of it to be like, well, I have to go to work, so fuck it. To like now I'm just like, you know where I'm at now. But yeah, David Sirota's article. Dog, I keep blanking on shit, dog. As Governor Andrew Cuomo faced a spirited challenge in his bid to win New York's 2018 Democratic primary, his political apparatus got a last-minute boost. A powerful healthcare industry group suddenly poured more than $1 million into a Democratic committee backing his campaign. Less than 2 years after that flood of cash from the Greater New York Hospital Association, GNYHA, Cuomo signed legislation last month quietly shielding hospitals and nursing home executives from the threat of lawsuits stemming from the coronavirus outbreak. The provision inserted into an annual budget bill by Cuomo's aides, created one of the nation's most explicit immunity protections for healthcare industry officials, according to legal experts. Let me say that this is fucking Democrats. This isn't Republicans. This is Democrats. This is what they say. The provision inserted into an annual budget bill by Cuomo's aides created one of the nation's most explicit immunity protections for healthcare industry officials, according to legal experts. The most explicit immunity. GNYHA, a lobbying group for hospital systems, including some that own nursing homes, said it drafted and aggressively advocated for the immunity provision. The new law declares that top officials at hospital and nursing home companies shall have immunity from any liability, civil or criminal, for any harm or damages alleged to have been sustained as a result. Even if we just shove them back in there knowing they have COVID or not even knowing if they have it, we can't fucking sue us. Okay, so fuck you. Go bury Granny. Here's a couple. Actually, no, we're not even gonna give you a couple dollars to bury her. Fuck out my face, pleb. Oh, that's literally what they're saying. And Andrew Cuomo's like, yeah, give me more money. I'm Italian. Give me more money so I can grab more titties. Oh my God, bro. As a result of an act or omission in the course of arranging or providing healthcare services to address the COVID-19 outbreak. Prior to the budget language, Cuomo had already temporarily granted limited legal immunity to doctors and nurses serving on the medical front lines. But the carefully sculpted passage buried in the state's annual spending bill expanded that by offering extensive immunity to any facility administrator, executive, supervisor, board member, trustee, or trustee, the trustee's dog, the board member's youngest granddaughter, Batman, or other person responsible for directing, supervising, or managing a healthcare facility and its personnel, or other individual in a comparable role. That's called bullshit legal talk, okay? That's called, yeah, we're definitely fucking you talk. That's what that's called. Critics say Cuomo removed the key deterrent against nursing home and hospital corporations, cutting corners in ways that jeopardize lives. As those critics now try to repeal the provision during this final week of Albany's legislative session, they assert that data doesn't prove such immunity is correlating to higher nursing home death rates during the pandemic, both in New York and in other states enacting similar immunity policies. Wow. Those deaths have occurred as Cuomo's critics say he has taken a hands-off approach to regulating the healthcare industry interest that helped bankroll his election campaign. In March, Cuomo's administration issued an order that allowed nursing homes to readmit sick patients without testing them for COVID-19 amid allegations of undercounted casualties. The governor also pushed back against pressure to have state regulators more stringently record and report death rates in nursing homes. So that's Andrew Cuomo So that is Andrew Cuomo. But again, honestly, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be completely honest with you now, because you already know what we're getting into now. Now we're getting into the sexual assault stuff. I don't have any clippings for that because it's going to be off the cuff. I saw the video of Shorty giving her testimony and all that, I'm not in the believe all women camp because I don't believe all women when it comes to these things. The reason why I don't believe all women, and no offense to y'all when I say this, but this is to be quite frank, why I don't believe all white women when they immediately come out is because of the history of white women and black men when it comes to sexual assault and rape allegations. And now, and that so take that caveat and also add in a lot of the bullshit Me Too stories that came out. So I'm not in the believe all women camp, hate me for it, whatever. I'm for facts and evidence. I'm not saying like I don't believe women, so I don't want to hear their stories. That's not what I'm saying. Because like I said, I listened to her story. She sounds she sounds credible. And I'm not saying I'm 50-50 on this. I'm 50-50. I can definitely see him grabbing titties because he gave the bullshit excuse. I'm Italian. It's in my culture to be handsy, and I just grab the titty and flick it. And when they give me $1 million, I flick more titty. Like that bullshit. Like I have a horrible Italian accent. I feel like I'm about to walk out my door and a bunch of Italian people about to jump me for disrespecting them like that. I'm sorry, y'all. I do better other like American impersonations and shit. But regardless, they're making a bigger issue out of him grabbing titties than him killing 15,000 people, upwards of 15,000 people. Let that sink in your mind. They're more concerned about Andrew Cuomo. They're more upset. They're more outraged about Andrew Cuomo grabbing titties than him killing 15,000 people. Bruh. Yo, and it's like a lot of progressives are letting them slide with this. They're talking about, they are, like, from what I've seen, a couple people are talking about it, but they're raising the stink more, especially in liberal media, mainstream media. They're raising a bigger stink about him getting off with the sexual assault stuff. It's fucking bananas, bro. It's banana balls. And this is the tactic that they use. And honestly, I think they did this because, again, the liability shield stuff that he gave those nursing home execs, are, even though they said it's the most explicit case they saw in the country, it's very similar to what they put in the fucking COVID bills that Nancy Pelosi was in charge of constructing with Mitch McConnell and Steve Mnuchin. And yes, Donald Trump was involved with those negotiations too. Oh. It's the same shit, and then now with the vax coming out and things like that. But even Trump, you got put that on Trump too when it comes to the liability shield, because he, like I say, he was just on Candace Owens bragging about I made the vaccine. Like the rollout was because of me. So including the liability shield you gave them niggas too, bro. That's what Candace Owens should have asked them. The liability shield still was you? All right, bet, bro, bet. So that's why this is fucking insane, man. They care more about him. And look, I'm not saying sexual assault is not bad. I'm not sitting here trying to trivialize this just to be a dickhead. I'm not sitting here trying to be a dickhead. We're talking about somebody groping a woman, grabbing a woman's titties, as opposed to him being responsible for the deaths of almost 15,000 fucking people. I don't know what to say about that. There's nothing more I can say. Like, a lot of leftists and liberals and even progressives, they like to paint the right wing as these people, and a lot of them are bootlickers. A lot of them are, hypocritical fucks. A lot of them will tell you that. They'll admit it. At least they real. A lot of the times, y'all motherfuckers like Cenk Uygur and shit like that. Like, you like to carry the flag of fucking of leftism, but nigga, you not even pro-union, bro. You tried to squash a union. What the fuck, bro? Like, at least they not fake. They'll tell you. A lot of them will tell you, yeah, we on some bullshit, bro. We're hypocritical fucks. Guess what? We don't care. We have our biases. We don't care. They'll tell you. But this is insane, man. And the reason why this kind of goes into, I think I had a conversation with my guy High Media, my guy Evan from High Media about this. It was a kind of touchy subject because me and him, he don't like talking about a lot of that stuff when it comes to, the believe all women conversation. But we talked about it when it came on Tox Talk. And I said the same thing I said there. I'm not in the believe all women camp because women lie just like fucking men do. Sometimes even more. I think Chris Rock had a joke. He said who tell the most lies? He asked the crowd. They said women, men, da da da. He said men. He said men tell the most lies. Women tell the biggest lies. Oh, bro. Men tell the most lies. Women tell the biggest lies. And I think he gave a comparison. He said, what did he say? What was the joke? The punchline of the joke? He said a man's lie is, all right, yeah, I was fucking Keisha. A woman's lie is, the baby's yours. And I know I'm not trying to make light of the situation. Look, I'll fuck with comedy, bro. I'll fuck with comedy. So I thought that was a good joke. And I thought it was a good, because it's like, this is kind of a similar situation, bro. It's like when you have this discussion about, women lying, like at this point, this case going on with Andrew Cuomo and the old people, very similar to Governor Schneider with the water crisis in Flint. Bro, if you would have grabbed some titties, bro, you could have dodged that whole fucking case, bro. I'm telling you right now, bro. I'm telling anybody right now. If Governor Schneider grabbed the titty the same time he poisoned the people of Flint, they would have gave more of a fuck about him grabbing a white woman's titty than him poisoning a whole fucking town of mostly black people. Let's be real about that shit. And that's an ugly truth that niggas don't want to talk about. And you know how this connect, bro? You know how this fucking connects to what's going on recently? This is the same shit Dave Chappelle was fucking saying. This is the same shit Dave Chappelle was saying during that stand-up. That's the same shit he was saying. It's funny how you get yeeted by as soon as you start talking that anti, LGBTQ shit, which I'm not for anybody talking against. Even Dave Chappelle is for those people having their rights. However, when it comes to black issues, it's not the same way. When it comes to legislation being passed to protect those groups of people, it don't go the same way. That's the point Dave Chappelle was bringing up. So again, if Governor Schneider had grabbed a white woman's titty the same time he poisoned a whole city of mostly black people in Flint, he would have just been fighting the sexual assault case. That's it. I said that shit. And I wholeheartedly stand by and believe that shit. So, told y'all that take was gonna be a little spicy, bro. I'm about to take one of them clips, put it on TikTok, boy. That joint was kind of spicy, boy. Let me take another drink. That joint was spicy. But yeah, guys. So, and again, I do want to end this by saying that if what Shorty really is saying is true, and even the fucking they admitted that her testimony was credible. They just don't believe they have enough evidence, beyond the burden of doubt and shit like that. So whatever. Just like they don't believe they have the evidence to prosecute them for killing a bunch of old people, for killing almost 15,000 old people. When clearly I just showed you they had all the evidence they fucking needed. So, and if you know about Andrew Cuomo's history, his family's history, then you probably know why he got off of this shit. New York is a very corrupt state. Very corrupt. Like most of America, but New York is extremely corrupt. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out there, guys. I know that was kind of a long video, but had a lot of information to cover, and then that spicy take, you feel me? I had to get the social media sound bites off, you heard? Bro, but that's real talk. That Governor Schneider point I made was like the cases are very similar in terms of, Cuomo with the nursing homes and Schneider with the, what is it? Schneider with the Flint, Michigan, the water poisoning and shit like that. So that's facts though. I stand by that. I wholeheartedly believe that shit. And again, that's the point Dave Chappelle was making. So Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close the video out there. To those of you I didn't piss off with my spicy take, like, comment, subscribe, and share as always. Yo, bro, even if I did piss you off, still, it will still be appreciated if you liked and shared it, or dislike but share it and then rage at me. So if somebody else sees it and they like it, they could like it. So but because I don't give a fuck if you mad or not. So as always, guys, much love. Even though that was a little spicy take, much love to you all. Yeah, man. I'm starting to really enjoy doing the show. I have a lot of videos in the tuck too. I know I didn't post last week. I had some things going on. I didn't have time to sit down and edit, but I do got some things in the tuck, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a couple videos about older topics dropping and shit like that. I actually have a Tox Talk video with Matt. Matt came back on the show because he just got back from the military. He came back on the show, so a Tox Talk episode is gonna be dropping with him. I got another homie. I have a lot of Tox Talk things lined up. I have another homie that's gonna be sitting down talking to me. He's more right leaning. He's like a libertarian type. So me and him are gonna be talking. He's a good friend of mine. Good friend. His name's Skinner. He's been on my other podcast before. Really good dude. Fuck with him. And get that, y'all tweet at that bull Jackson Hinkle, bro. I'm trying to get him on the show. He been ducking me, dog. I'm trying to get him on the show though. I'm definitely trying to get him on the show. He put out a tweet about that AOC. She skipped a march she was supposed to go to with a union, I believe, to go to fucking Florida too, which is hilarious because that's the same. They were getting on DeSantis for the same fucking type of shit. So, but yeah, tweet at Jackson Hinkle. Do what y'all got to do. Let him know Bendu want him on American Autopsy, bro. Let him know. Yeah, a lot of Tox Talk things lined up. I may have somebody else on too. So I got about 3 guests coming on, 4 if Jackson so graciously accepts my offer to come on the show. But nah, much love to Jackson, bro. I watch his show, The Dive. The Dive is cool. I fuck with The Dive heavy. A lot of y'all probably be seeing me comment on their shit. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close the video out there, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Oh yeah, by the way, go check out the Patreon content there. Not behind a paywall will be greatly appreciated if you did help support the show. It's a great way to help support the show. Also, click the QR or scan the QR link, whatever the fuck you got to do. There's other avenues to help support the show there as well as the description down below. Avenues to support the show there as well. So yeah, but there's videos on the Patreon there for free that you guys can go check out. I just put it there because a lot of it is more, it's not as politically centric and things like that. Like I'm talking about like aliens and OnlyFans and shit like that. I may start doing more fun topics on Twitch. I may start streaming on Twitch. That's one of them. My homie was just telling me I should start doing more of the fun political stuff on Twitch. So I may do that. We'll see though. We will see. So, but yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. Much love as always. Peace. Be easy.